Hello, everyone. Welcome. For my project, I'll be talking about algorithms and their ethical application, the ethical discussion about their use on the internet as we surf and do other things, and how they're being implemented in two specific ways. So, first one was advertisement and handling advertising, and how um, algorithms are designed to ad profile you as a user and personalize your advertisement experience based on searches you've made, based on your basically your internet footprint. Um, and that ethical application, and also keep in mind algorithms in a whole, they're not generally ethically dubious. It's more of along the lines where it's just a set of rules for a computer to follow, and to accomplish some sort of task. You can have algorithms as simple as handling math on a site, to handling vector-based rendering, to handling these more dubious means that I'll be talking about, like ad profiling and personalization within social media and things like that. So, impact algorithms in general are pretty prolific amongst the internet. You'll find one pretty much on every site doing something. Um, So with advertisement's a massive industry. The U.S. alone spends over $225 billion on advertisement, with 40% of that going towards TV advertisement. But as digital markets have risen and there's been more traffic seen on the internet, companies have shifted their focus towards advertisement on digital fronts, to make sure that that's being handled to the best they can, get those advertisements in front of as many consumers' eyes as possible. And one thing to keep in mind as you surf the web is that your information is golden. Basically, everything you like, your hobbies, things you'd be willing to pay for, that's what every company wants to get their hands on. And that's why Google makes so much money doing what they do, is because of the information that they sell to companies, or that they offer to companies to advertise to you. So, obviously, this may strike you as a little bit ethically concerning. So there has been pushback on this, though. One big one recently was the European DPA, the Data Protection Authority. Basically, a legal precedent had been set in the U.S. where the U.S. can go in and safeguards information from being shared with places outside of the U.S., but the European Union basically came and said they found that that was unlawful, to facilitate that transfer of information while not safeguarding information outside of the United States. So that was um, one step where another country had to come in and basically be like, "Hey, you can't be doing this." So, but on top of that, if you are concerned, if you are concerned about your privacy and the way Google has profiled you, if you use Google, they have, thanks to this the blowback they've gotten on this situation, they have come out with tools that you can look at yourself, and you can even turn off personalized advertisement for your Google account. One way to do that is the Google Ad Center. You can Google it, sign into your Google account, and it will show you the profile built on you based on your search history. So this one is mine, actually. This is my Ad Center. So you can see some of the brands that I've used: Adobe, Google Store, Publix, Vans, Uber Eats, stuff like that. But there's also ad topics, so they'll generate topics based on things you do or things you search. So like mine's mostly video game related. I play games. It is what it is. So you can check that yourself, though, if you're interested in seeing what Google has created on you as you've surfed the web. So continue with the ethical concerns. The other side of it would be with social media. So social media is designed from the get-go to keep you looking at it as long as you can. And the way that they handle that is they personalize your feeds. They, even if some apps, when you open them up, you make your account for the first time, they'll even ask you, what do you like, what do you dislike, and they'll personalize your feed based on those topics that you share. But that never stops; it keeps going. For things you search, people you follow, group interests based on areas you circle. There's a bunch of information being transferred back and forth every time you like something, search something, do anything like that, all designed to curtail that information specifically for you as you're navigating your feed. Because the longer they keep your eyes on their app, the more advertisements you see that are also personalized towards you, which is the more manipulation that you're going through as you browse the web. So Another ethical concern with this is the idea of misinformation or just the proliferation of information in general. One big thing, especially what we recently saw with COVID, that people or companies like Twitter and Facebook had issues with the government was the proliferation of misinformation and what they did to handle that, considering how big the traffic they see on their site is. So why is misinformation problematic? And so you would consider even who deems information as misinformation and things along those likes. There's recently a study done uh, surrounding the Boston Marathon bombing and information that circled the web while it was still breaking news. So this study that was done was looking to see how Twitter handled it in particular. And they had seen that incorrect tweets that had sought to engage users tended to proliferate 6 times faster than the information going through the normal media process or stuff just designed as just regular information that they deemed as regular information. This effect also extended further when it came to political news. Obviously, it's a little bit more charged, so there's a little bit more of an incentive to propagate information in that manner. So there has been government outreach. We've seen, like what I was saying earlier, we've seen steps with. There's been meetings over the whole misinformation mishap with COVID-19 in general. I'm sure you've seen stuff about Mark Zuckerberg going to like Congress or the Senate to sit in front and talk about what they've done to handle the proliferation of misinformation and steps that they've taken with their TOS, with banning members, with fact checking information, stuff like that to make sure that they're kind of putting a curb on what has been deemed as misinformation. Now, depending on where you align yourself, I would say politically, some people may see this as ethically good, or some people may see this as ethically bad, depending on how much you believe the government should have as control over certain areas. But while one handle in taking steps to mitigate these issues caused by these algorithms, or giving people tools to step outside of those algorithms, or sites that don't use them, or things along those lines, that returns power to the user. You're facing a little bit less manipulation as you just handle your daily life on the internet. So returning that power to the user, I would consider would be an ethically good thing to happen, and it's a good step to take. So to conclude, we're dealing with the byproduct of innovation. This is something that has made the coding sphere and just the way we handle information, the way the internet has blossomed, it has all been massively benefited by this. But these are things that we have to consider as technology becomes more prevalent in our society. Some of these morally or ethically kind of gray areas and what we want to see to set that precedent for how those things should be considered moving forward. I would say that these two issues in particular are a little bit ethically bad for me because I feel like they take power away from the users utilizing those sites, and being able to have someone stepping outside of an ad profile designed for them and all this other stuff to interact with the internet non-personally, I think gives more power to users. We have seen steps being taken to address these concerns, which is great. But the biggest thing for you to do as a person is just be aware of your internet footprint. There's plenty of sites you can use that advertise themselves as not being that don't use personalization, that don't use data collecting. There are tools you can use to prevent data collection, VPN, stuff like that. So definitely be aware of your internet footprint as you go on. Finally, these are references that were stated, some of the articles that we went over, and that's it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time.